Yes.
This come, I don't know what is this come from. Where's my screen? Just okay. Is the screen now visible, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's visible.
Full screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, let me start. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamai Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो 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 विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we start with chapter 12. It is in fact the essence, this devotional service, essence of Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 12 is the essence of in fact, it is the most important secret. It's having not many verses, but it is the essence. And what is the qualification for the essence that we have already learned is Bhaktoshi Sakheti. So Krishna says that because you are my devotee, Bhaktoshi and Sakheti, Sakha iti, because you are my friend and a devotee, and therefore I am giving you this secret. And this secret is available only in the 6 to 12 chapter. And how secretly it is kept, that's the reason why it is in the middle. So before it was Karma Yoga, in the just middle, the Bhakti Yoga, and of course, from 13 onwards, it is the Jnana Yoga that we'll again read together. So we can see our pranama mantra, we see Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We can see Sri Chaitanya Thakura here. And he has given us, he is our Guru, and he has given the entire world the Sankirtana Yajna, which is the yajna for the sacrifice for the Kali Yuga. As we have, in other yugas, we have in Satya Yoga, we have what? Meditation. And Treta, we have what? Hare Krishna.
होम यज्ञ, हवन और यज्ञ.
Fire sacrifice. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you. And then in Dwapara, it is the temple worship. And in Kali Yoga, it is the Nama Japa. Jap. Yajnanam japa jagyosmi, he's saying in the chapter that we have already learned. So amongst so many things, he is one. His opulences we have seen, we say Yajnanam japa jagyosmi. And Sri Chaitanya Thakur always says what we also read in our Kirtaniya Hasada Harihi. So with that devotional service and the secret, let's delve into the chapter. Humble obeisance to Shri Shri Radha Govinda. Let's start. Hare Krishna. So chapter 11. We just finished yesterday the Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, or the universal form. So what happened there? Lord Krishna shows his universal form. And after that, what happened? Arjuna, after seeing the fires form, so many things, he described everything, and then he accepts that I accept you is as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then now I cannot further. His body, the hair standing on the end, and then he pleaded, please come back to your original two-handed form. But in fact, what happened? Initially, he came to the four-handed form, and later on, he took the two-handed form. This is what happened. So, chapter 12 starts from here. Now that Krishna says, this is the form, this is my form, which only devotee can see. That's what we learned in the last verse of the previous chapter, that's chapter 11. This is the rarest of the rare form which only a devotee can see. And thereby, chapter 12 starts with the devotional service, with Arjuna being attached to the two-handed form, wants to clarify his position. And what is that he wants to clarify? Two things. After hearing and seeing Lord's inestimable, inexhaustible, impersonal opulences, Arjuna again wants to hear about devotional service in two ways. One, clarify its position as a devotee who works for Krishna as opposed to Jnani who renounces work. In chapter 5, also Krishna says that what is better? Niskama karma is better than renunciation. So he doesn't want to become Jnani. To clarify his position as being attached to personal form of Krishna, as superior to the universal form or the unmanifested Brahman. So the yogis, they, and even the Mayavadis, they worship the Brahman feature of Krishna. So what happens there? So there is a fall down. Why the fall down happens? That also we'll see. But one thing is clear here is that Krishna has a personal form, and therefore we always sing Govinda Madim Purusham Amaham Bhajami. And Bhagwan feature is the best feature, that also we know, which has got all the opulences, and there is an exchange of rasas. And Krishna himself is saying that this is my form. In the previous chapter, he said, this is the rarest of rares, my form. So he's not formless. He's having a form, but not like our form, which is physical. His form is transcendental. His form is spiritual, but not formless. Most important is that it is not formless, like that of the concept of the Mayavadis. And Krishna is saying, who is all attractive. So this is the sequence of the sections of 12, three sections, very small chapter in the sense that the number of verses is 20. We can cover this. So 2 to 7 is bhakti over impersonalism. Krishna has always been emphasizing on this, that bhaktas are the best, are the dearest to me. Then 8 to 12, progressive stages of devotion. So Krishna is a very good father. In any case, he is the seed-giving father. He's saying aham sarvasya Prabhu. We have heard that. But he's a very good father, in the sense a very loving father he is. He gives option, like any father. If you, can you do this? You want to, like a father says, okay, can you go for science? Somebody says, no, I can't do. Okay, fine. Then you go to arts. Okay, not possible. Okay, do something else. something of that sort, option by option, option by option. He keeps on giving that. We'll see that what are the progressive stages of devotion. And then 13 to 20 is qualities. That is the most important because we all, as neophytes in the path of sadhana bhakti, we the first thing we need to know is what are the qualities that endear one to Krishna, what Krishna loves, what Krishna likes, rather than what we like. What we like is unimportant. What he likes, and how do you know that he likes? Because he says, Krishna is saying in most of the verses, he's using the word aham. Patram puspam phalam toyam yam me bhaktya prayachati. Ham sarvasya prabhu. Tesam sadadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami. So aham dadami. So when Krishna is saying dadami buddhi yogam tam yanamam upayantite, when Krishna is saying that he is going to give the necessary intelligence, just we need to be in the devotional path. And before that, we need to know what are the qualities that Krishna wants. So 13 to 20 are about those qualities. So first verse, Arjuna Vacha, एवं सतत युक्त ये भक्तस्त्वं पर्युपासते ये चापि अक्षरम अव्यक्तम तेषां के योग वित्तमः. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are properly engaged in your devotional service or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. So the two questions, in fact, two questions or two options is asking, the which one is better. Arjuna always asked, always between the two, what is better for me? Should I go for sannyasa? Should I leave the battlefield and go for sannyasa, or I start fighting? Here also again he is giving two questions to Krishna, saying which is perfect. So according to you, I'm asking now. It's my question. Anyone can answer this. That in fact, which is better? You think? Hare Krishna. I think your microphones are on, so you can just guess. So, which is perfect? Devotional service or those who worship impersonal Brahman? Means devotional service to the Bhagavan feature, Sri Krishna, or Brahman.
Devotional service to Krishna.
And why?
Prabhuji?
And why?
Because he himself says that he is more dearer to Sakha.
That is also there. Yes, you are right, Mataji. So, yes, he's saying that Bhaktos is Sakheti, all that he's saying, but why devotional service is perfect? Now we're talking about which is the perfect service. So, what is happening in Brahman feature is people are going in the Ashtanga yoga, marga, where they do yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, dhyana, dharana, samadhi, and lot of penances they do, and ultimately go to the stage of samadhi. So there, and finally, they reach to the stage of Brahman. So what happens? Like the demons, the Mayavadis, they want to merge with the Brahman. So it is something like this that you are traveling in an aeroplane and just you are put in the middle of the air. So you are there, but you cannot stay there for a long time because if there is no landing space, then one cannot stay. So Brahma Jyoti is something like that. One stays there for some time, enjoys some kind of Brahmananda for some time, but after that, he or she has to, there is no he or she, the soul has to fall down. And where it will fall down? To earth again. Why? Because it can be compared with, it is something like you can say, and that is called what? That is called Sayujya Mukti. Because Sayujya, Yuj means connection. So, but then it is merging with the Brahman. And that is what devotee don't want. So we can imagine like this, that there is a kingdom of Krishna, which is the Golak Vrindavana, and there is a courtyard. So the Mayavadis and the people who worship Brahman and try to merge, they in fact just kind of stay in the courtyard. They cannot have the you know darshan, or they cannot even enter the kingdom because they fall down. And there is another verse where say yat gatva na nibartante tadhamam paramam mama. That means what? If you take this verse, yat gatva na nibartante tadhamam paramam mama. So my dhama, my abode is that abode where once go, you never return. That means any other place other than that, you have to return. So naturally, the place of Brahman is not Goloka, so it has to return by logic. However, if one is in devotional service, then what is that we have learned in Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam? Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Then Susukham Pratyaksha Avagamam Susukham Kartum Abhyayam. So it is very pleasing to do. Devotional service is Pratyaksha Avagamam. You can experience directly, and it is Susukham. So it is so pleasing in the sense that in one way it is so Susukham, so pleasing, and so happily one can discharge the devotional service. You can make some footwear. You can do anything. So this is the thing. So Arjuna's question was, which is more perfect, engaging in devotional service or worshipping the impersonal Brahman? Which is better? Now, two classes of transcendentalists. Personalist engage himself with with all energy in service of Supreme Lord. So that means all his energies, all his senses, everything he uses for Krishna. He is a personalist because he believes, not believes, he knows that Krishna is having a personal feature which is Shyama Sundara Rupa. And he engages in the devotional service in different bhavas and with different rasas. An impersonalist, like the Brahmavadis or the Mayavadis or the demons, sometimes they engage in meditation on impersonal Brahman. Right? Like you can see, even the great demons like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, they were also meditating, right? They meditated on impersonal, but then they were meditating, of course, uh, like Ravana meditated on Shivaji. So impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. Conclusion of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This is very important. Therefore, it is said as the essence of Gita. Chatushloki is the essence, but this is also conclusion of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is chapter 1 to chapter 18, attached to personal form of Lord. How? Let us see. First, chapter 2. What does it say? Living entity is spiritual spark. Absolute truth is spiritual whole. So we are the part and parcel of Krishna. If we are part and parcel of Krishna, then definitely he has a personal form. How we can be part and parcel of him otherwise? Then 6.47 says Bhakti Yoga is the best of all yogis. So how the bhakti can be performed? Bhakti cannot be performed with Brahman feature because it is a void. There is nothing. There has to be something for devotion. Then chapter 7 we learned living entity is part and parcel of whole, recommends one to transfer his full attention to Krishna. Chapter 8, anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of death at once goes to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. Then only way to have association to the Supreme Personal Godhead is through devotional service. So next verse, Sri Bhagavan Vacha Mayyavesha mano ye mam nityayukta upasate. Sraddhaya paruyupetaste me yukta tamamataha. Mark the words. Very important verse. The blessed Lord said, he whose mind is fixed on my personal form, always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, is considered by me to be the most perfect. Te me yukta tama mataha. He is the perfect. Who? That devotee whose mind is fixed on my personal feature. So now Krishna is saying that he is having a personal form. So there cannot be any doubt in anybody's mind that Krishna doesn't have a form or he is formless. All those questions he is simply refuting by this verse. He's saying, Maya abhyasa manoyama. The Supreme Personal Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. We can see a devotee, how beautiful he is, decorating Krishna and doing a lot of various kind of services just because of the personal feature. So this is the analysis of text 2. Why devotional service is the most perfect. So first fix their minds on my personal form, worship me with great and transcendental faith, and always engaged in worshipping me. So he's also saying Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Matyaji Mam Namaskuru. So actions in Krishna consciousness. Krishna conscious activity is not material because everything is done for Krishna. So everything becomes spiritualized. So what is that verse? Nirvandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. So anything related to Krishna, any activity becomes spiritualized because it is done for Krishna. And that is called Yukta Vairagya. So it can be many things. It is, it can be a temple seva, it is sweeping the floor like Prataprudra Deva was doing for the Jagannath temple. We saw it in the level 1. In fact, in level 2 also. Then constant remembrance. Which devotees? There are many devotees who are in constant remembrance. Prabhupada, for example. If you see any photograph of Prabhupada, you will see that the japa bit is there and is chanting. He's chanting at the same time he's doing something, but his constant remembrance is there. This is called Abhyakta Kalukta. Does not waste his time. A pure devotee is in full samadhi because of his constant engagement. That is, he chants, he hears, he cooks, beautiful bhoga for the Krishna, then have the prasadam, then he shops for Krishna, various things, then he washes the temples, washes the dishes, and he's so much engaged from the morning, let's say 4 o'clock till the night, 10 o'clock or whatever, he doesn't even waste a single moment without Krishna. And therefore, it is a perfect. Next, Yatu Aksharam Anirdeshyam Abhyaktam Paryupasate Sarvatragam Achintyam Cha Utastham Achalam Dhrubam Sanyamendriya Gramam Sarvatra Sama Buddhayaha Te Prapnuvanti Mam Eva Sarvabhuta Hite Rataha. By practicing yoga, people try to stop the mind from thinking, but the goal of life is not to become unconscious, but to become super conscious. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, means the Brahman feature, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all pervading, inconceivable, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. So if somebody is worshipping the unmanifested, the Brahman feature, then what are the various requirement is there? Like by controlling the various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, such person engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. So this is what is happening to the worshipper of the Brahman feature. That is the unmanifested. So those who worship unmanifested will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender. But what is happening there? Characteristic of impersonal conception of absolute truth is that it is unmanifested. So it's an image. So nothing is there. One has to imagine that there is a Brahman beyond sense perception, because we cannot see the form, eyes cannot see the form, uh, ears cannot hear to the leelas, uh, tongue cannot taste the prasadam. Nothing can happen. Inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable. A lot of penances required. So, how to worship the unmanifested? By controlling various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in welfare for all. By all this, ultimately, one will reach Krishna after the Samadhi stage. But it is so difficult because a lot of penances and so much things is required. So, therefore, it is not fit for Kali Yuga even. So therefore, Krishna is saying, in fact, Krishna is saying, Klesho adhikatara. Klesho adhikatara tesam. Tesam means there. Tesam adhikatara kleshaha. Klesho adhikataras tesam. Avyaktasakta chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. Deha bhaktir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. And who is saying this? Krishna is saying this. That klesho adhikatara. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, that is the Brahman feature, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Why? Because it is very difficult. The discipline is always very difficult. So, I mean, many of us, many of you also would have experienced in your life before coming to Krishna consciousness, some kind of yoga, some kind of meditation where, you are asked to meditate upon some light or something. So, I mean, what has been your experience? The happiness, does it stay uh, like the way you are doing devotional service today, like chanting? Uh, I mean, we need to know the experience. Anyone can say this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can anyone say Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Chanting makes you uh, what you can say, whatever thinking, whatever thoughts you are, what you can say, if any unprecedented situation or anything, such kind of thinking also, if it engulfs you, jap, chanting Hare Krishna japa makes you very calm and quiet.
Right. That's right. Just a bit.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, so what happens? Like we're talking about, sambandha, then prayojana, abhideya, all that we talked about. So that is possible only in the Krishna consciousness, where we want to have a sambandha, first connection. Then what is the objective? What is the process that is abhidaya? So the chanting, the Vaidhi sadhana vidhi, the sadhana bhakti, various ways to have the Krishna consciousness, and then finally the prayojana has to be there. All this will not happen in the meditation. So So what happens to the path of impersonalist is troublesome and very difficult. Two groups of transcendentalists both ultimately bring the same goal, but one is really difficult. Bhakti yoga is those persons who are in full Krishna consciousness and are engaged in devotional service to the Lord. It's something like that of one is compared to the staircase and other is compared to a lift. Because then you have to go through the Ashtanga yoga. Every anga is so difficult. That is the because the Brahman feature, to achieve the Brahman feature, one cannot say that I'll sit at home, I'll have a family life, and I can still have a Brahman realization. That is just not possible because there is a process. So there is a process for Krishna consciousness, devotional service. There is a process for Jnana yogis. So that process requires that one has to leave his family. He has to go to the secluded place. He has to sit on an asana, in a kusa asana, and so on. It has been explained in the previous chapters. The concentration has to be on the tip of the nose, and entire yama, everything has to be there. So therefore, it is the best. So I think I can, if the screen is visible, can you read? Can you read it? This is the difference between impersonalist and the personalist. Can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, read. So what happens? Let's say for impersonalist, just read 1 to 6. So he meditate on formless. So what happens? It's difficult for embodied. Next, un.
Unmanifested is beyond the senses, restricts the senses.
Okay. Next,
Next is must understand the Brahman through Upanishad, etc. Learn the language Sanskrit, understand the non-perceptual feelings.
so what is happening is that so many requirements are there to meditate on the impersonal feature of the Lord. All these are required because the requirement of understanding Sanskrit is required. To understand Upanishad is required. So many things are there. Next,
Long practice makes it difficult to take up bhakti.
yes.
Yeah.
Then it is also troublesome because there is no
Troublesome.
relationship with the Lord. There is no
Yes.
relationship. So once there is no relationship, after some time one might get
Bored.
dejected, bored, whatever you can say,
Bored. Yes.
because you will not be in engagement. How long one can continue, and depends on our own endeavor. Like whatever endeavor one does, based on that he will achieve. But in the other side, your endeavor, swalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Krishna delivered devotees from Maya. Why? Because Krishna himself recommends the process out of paternal love by his causeless mercy. Yogakshamam vahamyaham, he is saying. And on the personal side, it is easy. Senses can perceive the deity, the mantra, we can chant easily. We can, the hearing, the sravanam, it is happening. Sravanam,
Sankirtanam.
kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam, everything is happening, simultaneously while we are chanting. Simple chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is enough. Guidance of bona fide spiritual masters simply by offering regulative obeisances unto the deity, hearing the glories of the Lord, eating the remnants of food stuff offered to the Lord. These are the simple practices, and there is no qualification required. It is not required that one has to, read to be a erudite, reader of Vedas or Shastras, no Sanskrit, nothing is required. Completely natural, and misery is mitigated by relationship with Krishna. Krishna takes over all the threefold miseries. That is Adhatmika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Bhautika. All the miseries will be over. and Krishna delivers devotee from the Maya because of his causeless seed. And in terms of realization, there is what is that? Brahman is a nirguna, without qualities, inconceivable, all pervading, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, cannot perceive any opulence because of lack of activity. Because when we talk about opulence, means there has to be some activity. When Krishna was explaining about his opulences, he was saying, I am I'm the Janhavi among the rivers. So there is an activity. The river is flowing. So bhakti means activity. So therefore, Prabhupada says it is devotional service, not devotion. But if you go to an English dictionary, then you will find what is the translation of devotion, or sorry, what is the translation of bhakti? Devotion. But a guru knows, a, a devotee in the parampara knows that what bhakti is, and risk of not realizing absolute truth at the end. May not, because in the Brahman feature, one might end at particular Ashtanga, maybe he or she might end at the seventh or sixth, may realize the eternal, the Sat feature, that is Sat Chitta Ananda Rupa, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, Anatiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So that's Sat feature and knowledge feature, Chit, but he cannot perceive the Ananda feature, which is the most important, which devotees relish. And Bhagavan feature, there Saguna, it's a form. Therefore we say, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi, na bhavet graham indriyehi. So, but name, form, and pastimes you can perceive initially by the senses. But the real thing may require some time, because that may require Krishna's mercy and our continuous endeavor. But at least we know what we're doing. All pervading, and it is, we know because it is coming from our parampara, and people have experienced, people have seen Krishna. Our great devotees have seen Krishna in our parampara. Unchanging, fixed, and immovable, possessor of six opulences. And what are the six opulences? Unlimited knowledge, unlimited richness, unlimited fame, unlimited strength, then unlimited beauty, and then unlimited non-attachment, vairagya. Success is guaranteed as nothing is lost. Realizes eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Means the bliss feature is also there in the, when we worship the Bhagavan feature. We can see here, this is the yogi who is concentrating on Brahman, and here is a beautiful our devotee who is worshipping Lord Krishna's personal feature, Shama Sundara Rupa, and he's just relishing. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येव योगेनो मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्यु संसार सागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशित चेतसाम्. So Krishna is saying, for one who worships me, giving up all the activities onto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, who has fixed his mind upon me, O son of Pratha, for him I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So we all know that we are drowning, because this is called, this earth, or this earthly planet, this loka, the bhuloko, is called what? Aswasatam dukkhalayam. So dukkhalayam, aswasatam, we know why? Because it has got, four problems. And what are the four problems? Birth, death, old age, and disease. And we cannot get out of that. And it is, and who can? So we are basically drowning in the ocean of miseries, and only Krishna can deliver us. Because he's saying, Tesam aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagara. This is, therefore, this is also called, this earthly planet is also called Mrityu Loka, because death is a must. And this is what the answer of Yudhishthira to the Yaksha. That what is the most wonderful thing, that everyone dies, but people still think that he will not die. But he's saying that Tesa Mama Samudharta Mrityu Samsara Sagarat Bhavami na Chirat Partha Maya Aveshya Chetasam. Whoever constantly thinks of me, is in devotional service to me, fix his mind upon me, O son of Partha, for him I am the swift. He's not saying I am the deliverer, he's saying I am the swift deliverer. Means it is possible to get out of this ocean of miseries even in this birth, not required for the next birth. So therefore, Kunti Devi, Kunti Mata always prays to Krishna in Bhagavatam that I, I am very, very blessed. I mean, having all the problems, but I'm still blessed because the problems would have been much, much intensified or magnified if I did not have the mercy of Krishna. So I am so fortunate, and let the pain be there so that I constantly remember Krishna. He sees praying. So summary of section B, progressive stages of devotion. This is where the good father, Krishna as a good father, comes with varieties of options. If you can do this, please do it. If you cannot do this, do the next. If you do not do this, so there are 4, 5, 6, 7 options you will have. So 8, living within Krishna by continuously fixing one's mind and interest upon him, that is called Ananya Bhakti. If you are not able to do Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Chinto Yasto Mam Ye Yanaha Purupasate Tesam Nitya Vijuktanam Yogakshamam Bahamyam. So Ananya Bhakti is constantly engaged. So not a single moment is there where I am not thinking about Krishna. If that is the state, that is called Ananya Bhakti. It's very difficult for us. We all have our own job, family, samsara, and all that is there. So, not possible for us. So, Krishna also knows this because he is a most wonderful, loving father. So, he knows it. That will say, Krishna, we can't do this. So Krishna says, okay, fine. If you cannot do Ananya Bhakti, then you go for the Sadhana Bhakti. So practicing the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga to increase one's desire and ability to remember and obtain Krishna. So do the Sadhana Bhakti. What is Sadhana Bhakti? Doing the regulative principles. What is the regulative principles? Which is given by our Acharyas. So we are doing as recommended, that okay, we have to chant so many rounds. In level 2, 1 round. In Bhakti Sastri, 16 rounds. Get up for the morning Arati, Mangal Arati, Tulsi Arati, chanting, reading Gita, reading Bhagavatam, listening to Bhagavatam, uh, deity worship, and so on. So all that will be part of sadhana bhakti. So if you cannot do the ananya bhakti, do sadhana bhakti. Now somebody says, no, I cannot do sadhana bhakti also because I have so many other engagements. I have so many problems. I have to travel so much, and I cannot do Ekadashi because Ekadashi is part of the sadhana bhakti. I cannot do because I have some disease or some problem, some acidity is there, etc., etc. If somebody says, then said, okay, fine. Now Krishna says, okay, then surrender. Then you surrender your work to Krishna. That also you cannot do. Then surrender Krishna the results of one's work. Not cannot do, cultivate meditation or knowledge. So many options that he is giving. We should remember this. So mayeva mana adhasva mayi buddhing niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdham na samshaya. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. This is called Ananya Bhakti. So Ananya Bhakti not necessarily only done by the sannyasis, or sannyasis in the sense that the brahmacharis, not necessarily the brahmacharis, the brahmachari devotees. It is done by even grihasthas. Like Arjuna was a grihastha, but he was an Ananya Bhakta. Constantly he was thinking about Krishna. And you can see the copas of Vrindavana. They are also constantly thinking. Of course, they are in pure Sakya Bhava. Yesterday he was talking about, pure Sakya Bhava and also Sakya Bhava mixed with reverence. That is which Arjuna was having. But both are Ananya Bhakta. So devotional service, perform devotional service by thinking exclusively of Krishna, no one else. So that is called pure devotional service. Sisyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Fix mind upon me, engage all your intelligence in me. And what is the benefit? You will live in me always without a doubt. That's what Krishna says. And what Nectar of Devotion says, Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anabrutam, Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam, Bhaktir Uttama. Bhakti means what? I mean, when the first class devotional service develops, we're talking about the first class devotional service, which is the Ananya Bhakti. When the first class devotional service develops, then what happens? So there is no other desire. There is no other material desire. And one is also devoid of all monistic philosophy, like not going towards Brahman uh, realization, Ashtanga yoga, etc. And Jnana Karmadi, other fruitive activities also he is devoid. Jnana Karmadi Anamritam, and he is doing everything in favor of Krishna, what he desires. But again, some devotees will say, no, not possible with my this kind of life. I have to catch up a train at 5 o'clock, travel for in the crowded train. So what do I do? And so fine, to try the sadhana bhakti. So he's saying, Atha chittam samadhatum na saknosi mai sthiram abhyasa yogana tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. My dear Arjuna, oh winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind, means if you cannot do the Ananya Bhakti, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, you will develop a desire to attain me. But the thing that we are doing as of now, we are doing this sadhana bhakti. So, which bhakti is this? This is the sadhana bhakti, regulatory principle, chanting that we just talked about. We can see all the devotees of ISKCON are doing sadhana bhakti. I mean, of course, after that, they goes to the higher stage, they reach the prema bhakti, but that takes time. So this is called sadhana bhakti. In fact, you will be, uh, in the class there are forms which come which says the sadhana bhakti form. So how many times you are chanting. So to elaborate it more, if one cannot perform devotional service, that is Ananya Bhakti, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, and you will develop a desire to attain me. So by sadhana, one may not like this initially. So it is something like initially it is bitter, but later on it is like nectar. So one may not like to get up at 4 o'clock, one may not like, but slowly the attachment, the Shraddha comes. So those who have not developed attachment for Krishna, how to achieve that stage of pure love? Practice devotional service with present senses. So use our senses. So chanting is using our mouth, our ear. So use it so that slowly it will come. So how to follow regulations, regulative, devotional service? By guidance of Guru. So whatever we're doing here, participating in Gita classes, participating in